What's up guys, Jordan from Bennett's Custom. We're back on another episode. We're gonna jump back onto the Radial flyer. I need to make a fuel tank for that thing. So we're not gonna use the stock one. I got a couple really neat ideas. We're gonna build it out of 2.5 mil aluminum sheet and do kind of similar to bead rolling as we did in our previous video on the Hemi Coupe, and maybe a little bit aircraft inspired. We're gonna get that motor out, and then we're gonna kind of show you where and what we're working with, and then we need to fabricate up an aluminum fuel tail. Need a little bit more lift. What do I got for timber? Oh, somewhere. Incredible little engine trolley made by yours truly, Rexy boy. Thanks, Rex. Well done. All right, let me lower this down a little. This is gonna be really challenging, actually, because that's there. 220. Huh. How are we gonna do that? This is I got no fucking room in this thing. How am I gonna do that? I can not. All right, so I slept on it last night, and I'm pretty good at doing this, but I've changed my mind with this tank. I am gonna radius the edges just slightly, not enough to compromise the amount of fuel that goes in, but I just want to try and make this out of 4 sides and have a join in the center, or even closer to an edge, so that I'm only gonna have to weld up the ends and one along the bottom. I'm actually gonna hammer form our sides. And the reason why I want to do that is just for added strength, and also I'll have kind of 2 seams that'll come up that I'll be able to weld, and I think it'll be a really nice little kind of setup. We're going to cut these out, and then I'm going to measure this out on our sheet of aluminum. Then I'm going to transfer this onto our timber, and then we'll start to get the jigsaw, and we got a nice brand new 1/2-inch bullnose router bit, which should cut through it nicely and give us a really nice curved radius. We are gonna start to make the actual tank itself now that we have both of our ends ready to go. The biggest thing with trying to roll this out of one piece is because we do have a radiused corner, we need to take that into consideration while we go to actually try and create that radius with our magnetic brake. And the biggest thing, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know, is trying to measure the distance it's gonna take in order to create that. So what I mean is, if this is a 90-degree piece and we have a radius like that, we need to know this distance to this distance and how much material it's gonna take in order to create that. So what we're gonna do is just lay out our whole thing on here, run out over Liam's, use the guillotine to chop our piece, and then hopefully we can sort of, I may have to fabricate up a little steel piece that will kind of hold in our magnetic brake. But other than that, we are gonna try and bend this all in one piece, and fingers crossed it works. The last bend's always gonna be the tricky one, but we will see if we can, you know, make it happen.
Girl, you got this. A whole lot of ticking, not enough time, not enough time. A whole lot of sweat for a trophy ride, The clock keeps ticking, still running out of time.
All right, guys, so you saw I just ran the wood buck kind of guide through to get our sort of hammer form beads, very similar to what we had done for our ends. And if you guys have missed the video, if you click right there, you will see how we kind of created and made this hammer form buck in order to do it with the tooling that we were able to use in our power hammer. These are our ends, obviously. And I've had to do multiple pieces. So kind of started out with this, and I'm using Liam's press brake, and I'm trying to get, obviously, sort of the right radius. And I kind of finally figured it out. Again, multiple pieces, just trying to figure out different shapes, and you know, really trying to dial in that radius. And then before we kind of jumped into this, I did want to sort of bend up a couple, and then I'm measuring sort of center of my radiuses to make sure that they are exactly what they should be. you know, kind of playing around with different ways of being able to make this work. I just really wanted to sort of emphasize to definitely like take a few steps, don't just go straight into it, because if I had done that, I would have ruined this piece probably 20 times. So fingers crossed, after the amount of times I've done it, I would hope that we do it right, but I've been proven wrong before. I was able to take a piece of 38 mil tubing, or they call it speedway tubing here, and it's kind of a lot of the stuff I use with the race car. And I just used the plasma cutter, cut a strip right out of it, and then set it up over top. So now it's kind of has the radius that we need, and then we have the open V block that we're pressing on. So if we use it, I can show you an example. If I turn it on. So this is obviously sort of the radius that we were trying to achieve. This is kind of the first piece that we were playing with. And I've set everything. So the same with when I'm using it for the louver press that you guys may have watched last week. We can kind of set the stroke both going up and down, which makes it a bonus because it's just limited amount. It kind of speeds up that process. So if we set this in, I think I've just done it just a tad under. Oh, so that's 90 degrees there. So you can see that it's given us a 90 degree. We're just fingers crossed we can put this sheet in, and we're gonna know right away after the first bend, so we might as well just go straight into it. All right, let's give it a go on the first one. Oh, let's see what it done. Very close. Pretty darn close. So I think we just need to do a little bit more. Very close. I think we could probably work with that. Okay, that's gonna be good. I did this one sort of oversized. It just allows me to be able to break this one, and then we can kind of go through and fine tune it and kind of fight it, because it wants to come up and obviously hit the fence. but if we have it broken, obviously it's gonna help us. So just wanna make sure. Right about there. The line is there. Nothing's gonna hinder or hit. Let's go for it. We knew that was gonna happen, that's okay. We should be able to press through it. Okay. So it would be nice if I took a little bit more off this, which we can do. But let's just make sure we're in the ballpark. So that just needs to bend more on the inside here. So we can get more bend on that side, then we're good. In order to do that, we should probably take off a little bit more of that guy, and then it can rest up closer. And that was my measuring. We should have been a lot closer here. So that's okay. What we can do is scribe this out, I'll line it off, we'll cut it with a grinder, and then we'll come back here to finish this bend so that it can get closer. And then I believe we're gonna be that much closer to fabricating up a very cool fuel tank. All right, so you can kind of see what we're trying to achieve here now. So we're able to get it all square in the press. This is our front, this is our top. Kind of may have done a little mistake there. I kind of wanted these to be the side, but I forgot that it actually only fits in width-wise, not top to bottom. So now that we have this sort of set up, I need to make a baffle that'll go inside here. So I'm just going to use a simple plate. I'm going to drill a hole. We're going to dimple die it. I'm going to cut my corners out, and then this will slide inside here and go in so that we can just tack it in. And that's just going to help fuel kind of sloshing back and forth. All right, so we were able to use our dies, punched a hole, then we ran over to the press and put a little dimple in it. And then I was able to just use this to sort of just kind of go around and cut all the corners. So now we can take this, that's gonna slide inside here like that with a little bit of trimming because I think it just opened it up a little. And then we'll just tack that into place. And that's just gonna help with a little bit of fuel kind of slosh back, also giving it a little bit of support in here as well. So I got the kind of good way I'm gonna be able to hold this in because this has to sit in here and then I need to weld this in. And I'm gonna use these little sheet metal clamps. And I usually don't use these, I always use tabs with Clecos, but they do make a really good sort of setup for wanting to butt weld something together. So I'll be able to utilize sliding these through, and how they work is this little pin, I guess you'd call that the little steel plate, that drops in between each one like that. And then underneath you'd put this guy in and then you tighten it up and then it sort of squares everything up and makes sure it's level. So if I can just put multiple of those along here, we'll be able to you know, get a really nice even finish, and then I can weld it, and if we want to, we can sand and dress it. Probably not going to because it is at the back. I'll just leave. Hopefully I can get a nice consistent weld and I will just leave it. I also made this a little bit oversized as well so that I can kind of run my weld right off the corner, and then I'll be able to just trim these to fit. Sometimes, especially with aluminum, if you're trying to get it right to the edge, it'll sort of like to kind of cave in a little bit, or there's a little bit of the material sort of pulls away. So this way, if it's a little bit oversized, you'll be able to get that corner, and then we can trim those with the grinder afterwards to sort of match everything.
When your love gets strong, when your love it will break the fear. When your love gets wide, it will bring you near. And when your soul gets humble, pride loses meaning. And your days of trouble, they will end right. They will end right here. When we come together, it will bring the light. When we come together, it will bring the fire. Release the singing in the night. We need the love and sympathy. There's a new beginning. See the morning light. See the morning
On the road, headed back to New Orleans, driving in the country past old-timey scenes. Big birds were singing in the tall willow trees, mighty fine. 3 words written on a paper bag: I miss you, was written in a message in black, thrown in a van 2,000 miles back, a better time. And how many souls and times that I've told of places that I'd wanna be, and how many days when I could have stayed instead of just getting up to leave. And given we make time, I'll meet you down the line. A long coat walking on a New York street, a pack of crushed cigarettes that fell to her feet. Well, ain't it odd how some people meet? But that's the truth. And two pictures buried in a guitar case, underneath the music sheets all over the place. I caught a glimpse of the sweetest girl's face I ever knew. And how many souls and times that I've told of places that had like to be. And how many days when I could have stayed instead of just getting up to leave. And given we make time, I'll meet you down the line. And all the days from now to then, if they never seem to come or to go, will find me in your memories that keep you from getting so low. And given we make time, I'll meet you down the line. Down the line, we'll meet up down the line. Down the line.
So I've tacked sort of every 1 3/4, 2 inches all the way across, and then sanded the back. I've cleaned it and everything, and it's all prepped, ready to go for welding. So hopefully I can just start at one end and I'll work my way right across. I am running about 160 amps, but I am running on the foot, so I am sort of using that and sort of pulsing it as I go. I got 0.5 post flow, or 0.5 pre-flow, 2.5 post flow as well. I'm using a 2.4 tungsten. I'm not using a 3.2. Would be very interesting to know what you guys use for all the aluminum welding. I do it, but I don't do it enough every single day to learn, like, you know, the exact what to use, but this has always worked for me. But yeah, I'd like to know what you guys use, especially on 2.5 mil or around that, if you'd use a 3.2 tungsten or if the 2.4 is good, and also know what kind of amperages you guys are running. But it seems to work for me, get really nice penetration, and yeah, we're basically ready to go. So I'm gonna set up and get ready, and then we'll start to do our first one here.
Well, if you leave, don't leave it oh so long. Come on back where you know you belong. When we're apart, how I long for you. You stole my heart, don't you ever see it through. Please, oh please, won't you stick around? Spare just a little time, don't go running around. I wanna keep you close, wanna hold you tight. I don't ever wanna say goodnight. Stick around.
Definitely tell I had my coffee this morning. I got real shaky. Usually I try and plan my coffees around what welding job I have to do in the morning, but this morning I needed one. Hopefully I don't cup and dip the tip or something. Get a nice suntan.
Please, oh please, won't you stick around? I don't wanna say goodbye when the sun goes down. I wanna keep you close, wanna hold you tight. I don't ever wanna say goodnight, but just stick around.
All right, so I drilled some holes, and one is for the sender, the other is for the fuel pump and pickup, and I welded in sort of their weld-in bung, or I guess you'd call it like fuel pump holder, and that worked out perfect. So I kind of made the pickup on this side, and the sender is going to be on this side, and fuel filler will be on this side. And kind of reason why is I was just hoping that maybe when you're filling it up, sort of the disturbance kind of sits in here potentially, and that won't pick anything up. As well as the return line for the fuel, I will put sort of on the bottom, probably on this as well. I've run returns on the top, but when they return, and if your fuel's low, you can hear it. It sounds like you're, taking a pee in a urinal. So I'll probably put that on the side or on the bottom. Still don't have this side welded in, and that's purely because I do need to do the bungs, need to obviously weld in the breather as well. But yeah, it's taken shape. I think it looks really cool. I just kind of really roughly just quickly went over it with a Scotchy just to see, and it really kind of made these pop. Sort of just catches in the light, probably a little bit easier for you guys to see. But we do have one end on, and I will most likely leave these welds. This is sort of the side you're going to see. I may just go over it again with pulse and just do a nice hot pass and just try and get a little bit more penetration. On the back side, there's just a few areas where it didn't fully go through. So that would just be a safety thing, purely just so it doesn't crack. But yeah, it's gonna look really cool. So I think once we have our pump and everything installed with our pickup, that's gonna sit in here. And then there's a nice little piece that kind of clamps down over that with some hardware. And then we have this really cool Holley level, easy level sender. Part number is 19-250. And this is a really neat thing. I'll kind of mention it at the beginning of the video, and basically that's it. So there's no rod, there's no adjustment thing, there's no plunger, there's nothing inside that kind of can work or fall off. It's purely uses a blue laser, and it shoots down and shoots back up, and that basically tells you what you have. So bolts on like that, and then you just have your ground 12 volt and your gauge. So it's super simple. There's a few different settings that you can go through. I think it's gonna look really neat. I'll probably try and use a little bit of copper hose for the fuel breather and you know, kind of return and the pickup as well, just to kind of keep it that sort of aircraft theme just in this area. I do think I'm gonna paint this sort of the same color as the green that is on the oxygen reserve tank that's in the race car. That is like a World War II sort of early bomber oxygen reserve bottle, but I really like the color. I think it would kind of look quite neat in there, and we might even be able to do a little bit of sign writing on the side of it. Building that little buck to be able to do these X's was really fun. And then obviously, you know, doing the wood buck again to get the radius to edge for our sides, and then obviously setting up a jig and kind of making that piece of speedway tubing and cutting the guts out of it to sort of get our nice radius. It was a lot of fun. I think it was kind of neat to sort of create something a little bit different than sort of your bog standard, you know, sort of just run-of-the-mill square fuel tank. And honestly, they're both going to do the exact same thing, but aesthetically, you know, I think it'll look quite cool. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit notifications. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. And another way, if you guys do want to support the channel, in the link in the description, there's a little buy us a beer. And basically it's just, you know, anything helps, and it just really pushes to try and get this channel to grow and to be able to bring more information out, to have the opportunity to do different projects and kind of bigger and wilder things. You know, I think Ben and I both we got the fire under our ass. We want to create some really cool stuff. So anyways, make sure you like, turn it on a sec.